Hello everyone, I'm Sonic Rainboom, and thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. I'm sorry this video is kind of late. I meant to do this video much earlier, but just so many things got in the way of me doing this, so now I'm finally releasing this video, just like over a month late after I actually reached 1,000 subscribers. But anyway, for my special today, I really wanted to do a video that I've been wanting to do for many years now. And this video is for my friends or family who might think it's kind of strange for me to, be part of this fandom or to be a Brony, and just kind of go over the misconceptions that come with that. Usually for a video like this, I would use my OC and do a heavy scripted video. And while I do have a script here for this video, it's more of guidelines than an actual script, because I really want this video to be from the heart and just be real with you guys, because this fandom means a lot to me, and I really want to show just how amazing it can be, but also to show why I'm a Christian in the fandom as well. So first of all, why am I a Brony? Well, contrary to what many people say, to be a Brony does not have anything to do with being gay. In fact, according to most studies, only about 2% of Bronies actually identify as being gay. Only 2%. That's a very small number. It isn't most of the Bronies who are gay, only a small percentage of them actually are gay. Again, being a Brony has absolutely nothing to do with being gay at all. And while there are gay people in the Brony fandom, that isn't the most of them, and it is what it means to be a Brony. I've been in this community for over 11 years now, for over a decade. And if you still think that Bronies are all gay, even though you yourself haven't been a part of the fandom at all, shouldn't someone who has actually experience in the fandom for over a decade have more say over someone who doesn't have any experience over it? I mean, I actually know what the fandom is like, because I've been a part of it for over a decade. And I have to say that the idea that all Bronies are gay, that's 100% a misconception and a false thinking. It's a lie. And while there are gay people in the fandom, again, there are gay people in every fandom. The only reason why people assume that Bronies are all gay is because it's just kind of the main thinking people go to, the main assumption that people go to, like, oh, how do people like this show for little girls? They must be gay, but that isn't the case at all. So if you're a Christian yourself, you know that most unbelievers assume that every Christian is judgmental, every Christian is hypocritical, every Christian is prideful. But if you are actually a Christian, and you're in the community, and you go to a good church, you know that isn't the truth at all. That while all Christians are all judgmental, that isn't most of them, and that isn't what it means to be a Christian at all. In the same way, while there are some gay Bronies in the fandom, that isn't most of them, and that isn't what it means to be a Brony. So then, why do Bronies even exist in the first place? Well, the reason why I like My Little Pony is the same reason why everyone else does, like a good show, because it's good. It actually has good writing and good characters and good stories and good development and good character arcs that go throughout different episodes, even throughout many seasons. Again, as you probably know, the show has a huge fan base worldwide, with tons of Brony conventions for adult, male and female fans of the show. When the show got really popular among adult men, it confused a lot of people, and a lot of people thought, what? How could adult men like the show for little girls? They must be gay. But the truth is that Laura Frost and the creators of the show came out and said, even before the show aired, that they wanted the show not just to be some other little girl show where they have tea parties and do all girly things without any real depth to the characters, but they actually wanted to make a show that was good, that had real depth to the show, to the characters, had story arcs and everything else that a good show needs, so that the parents could watch the show if the kids would be comfortable with it, and even so that other adults could watch it too and be fine with it. Hello everyone, future me here, and as you might see, my room is a little bit spooky now. Anyway, I forgot to say a few things in the last recording, so I'm gonna clear it up now and say those things now. I may pop back into the video a few more times to just clear some things up that I forgot to say in the last recording. So yeah, right now I'm going to show you an interview that Lauren Frost did, where she explains how she intentionally made the show My Little Pony good for all ages. So here it goes.
That's why I didn't want to make Pony for littles, like I think people think it's a preschool show, but Craig and I have a philosophy with every single one of the shows we've ever made that even if our target demographic is girls 6 to 11, boys 6 to 11, we want it to be all ages. We want parents to sit down with them and not want to shoot themselves in the head. Because a lot of little kid shows are that way. So the people that I was working with told me that nobody over the age of 7 would ever watch this. They said boys would never watch this. So I kind of said, well, the girls like me who played with My Little Pony in the beginning might like to watch this with their daughter because they're nostalgic for it. And coming off of Powerpuff Girls, I knew boys would watch stuff if you made it, stuff for girls, if you made it compelling, you made it funny, you made it interesting. So that was a big goal of mine, was to try to get, in trying to get parents to watch it with their kids, and maybe older sisters who might be interested, just at least wouldn't get turned off the way I did when I was little. Then we ended up getting this bigger, greater audience that nobody expected, even myself.
The show is good for all ages. The Brony fandom exists for a reason, you know. There's a reason why there are tons of Brony conventions, not tons of Peppa Pig conventions or tons of Dora the Explorer conventions out there. Why? Because unlike most kids shows, My Little Pony actually is good, and actually has good depth to the show and characters, and good writing. For one, the show's continuity. It does not talk down to its audience. There's literally an episode in season 9 where it goes all the way back to something that happened in episode 1 of the show itself. Like, do you really expect little girls who are watching this show to remember that? They probably only remember an episode that aired 9 years ago. But this show does, because it does not talk down to its audience. In fact, as the show went on from season 4 to season 9, the show actually became more made to be geared for bronies, which is why there's so much continuity. And there was even still continuity in these old episodes too, season 1, 2, and 3. Not only that, but the show is not like SpongeBob or any other show that just resets the world every single episode. No, you have to actually watch each episode in order, because if you watch them out of order, it won't make sense. Not only that, but in the show there's actual character development and character story arcs. Twilight Sparkle starts out as a pony who really hates friendship and just wants to be alone, but then she slowly transforms into someone who embraces it, and she turns into a totally different pony. In fact, there's tons of other characters in the show too that have big character arcs, like Star Glimmer, Thorax, Sunset Shimmer, and tons of other characters in the show too. And there are little story arcs that go across many episodes, like the season 4 episodes all have hints that slowly build up to the season 4 finale. The same thing with season 5 and the other seasons too. Not only that, but there's also good world building in the show too. Like you see tons of different locations throughout the series. The show also has a world building and also has lore to the entire world. That's right, the show has lore, tons of history of Equestria throughout the entire show, which is just crazy. There's also many emotional scenes that are intense for a normal kids show. Like there's literally 2 episodes that are about coping with death, thanks to the memories and the perfect pair. Not only that, but there's also 2 episodes in the show that talk about divorce. There's an episode that talks about suicide, one talks about not being perfect. Rainbow Road Trip talks about depression. And then even the episode The Princess Dream of Magic Sheep talk about kind of self-harm. These are some very deep and intense topics for a little girl show. This show does not talk down to its audience, but it is real, and it's intense. In fact, some of the episodes and the stories are crazy. Like literally the Crystal Empire, the villain literally makes the Crystal Ponies slaves and puts them into slavery. That's pretty dark. And the episode The Cutie Map literally has Star Glimmer who literally starts a cult, basically. It's basically a cult, like a communist cult almost. And they literally try to brainwash the main 6 into believing the cult. That is intense. And the episode The Cutie View Mark, they literally go to different parallel timelines, like parallel universes where different things happened. And there's time travel too. You wouldn't see something this crazy happen in a kid's show normally. And in the episode The Beginning of the End, the main characters literally have to fight their own families because they're mind controlled. And they get really upset over that. That's really sad and intense. And last thing, look at this epic scene in Twilight's Kingdom. Like, that is just epic. You still think this is just a normal kids show? No, it's not. The show also has tons of pop culture references, like references to Doctor Who, Star Wars, Back to the Future, Harry Potter, Legend of Zelda, even more adult things, like The Big Lebowski, Breaking Bad, and Rick and Morty. Clearly, these references for the adults watching the show, and not for the kids. But of course, people don't watch the show just for references alone, but because the writing of the show is actually really, really good. In the show, all the characters are not one-dimensional, like how they all are normally in kids' shows, but they are three-dimensional, and they all have personalities and character arcs that mesh well together, like how I would in any good show. The characters actually have character development, and they actually grow and change as the show goes on. Season 1 Fluttershy and Season 9 Fluttershy are completely different characters. And Twilight has the most growth in the main cast, unless you include Starlight Glimmer. So in the end, My Little Pony has great writing. It has good stories, continuity, character development, overarching stories, world building, lore and history to the world to make it feel real and alive, emotional and engaging stories and moments, serious lessons, dark moments, funny moments, fun Easter eggs and references to pop culture, epic scenes, sad scenes, good music, good voice acting, good cinematography, and good characters that are relatable and three-dimensional. If all that somehow doesn't make My Little Pony into a good show, then I don't know what does. Sure, it's a kid's show at the end of the day, but just because a show is for kids doesn't mean it can't be good. If a show has all the good qualities that are needed to make it into a good series, then it can definitely be a good show, whether it's for kids or not. And as Lauren Faust herself said, the creator of the show, she wanted to make My Little Pony for all ages, not just for kids. It was intentionally made for adults, on purpose. My Little Pony may be a kid's show at the end of the day, but that's probably the reason why it has so many passionate fans. Because it is a kid's show. It shouldn't be this good, because kids shows usually aren't this good. But really, it is good, which is why it has so many dedicated fans and passionate fan base that appreciates how much love and care Lauren Faust and the entire creative team behind My Little Pony put into the show. And in the end, what really makes a good movie or show or good story isn't it all down to the writing? It is. I mean, why are the old Star Wars movies good but the new ones aren't? Because the new ones had bad writing in it. It all comes down to the writing. My Little Pony has good writing as any good show. Just because it's made for little girls doesn't automatically make all that good writing go away. That doesn't make any sense. That's not how it works. And now I'll let past me take it back to the video again. So in the end, I watch My Little Pony the same reason why anyone watches a good show. Because it's actually good. It has good writing, good stories, good characters, character development, world building, and lore to the entire world. It's a great show that just so happens to be made for little girls. But just because it's made for little girls doesn't suddenly undo all the good stuff, all the good writing. That's not how it works. But My Little Pony isn't for everyone. Maybe you watch a show and felt like, what? This show isn't good. Why do people even like this? Just because you don't like a show doesn't mean that it's not good. I mean, I had a friend over my house one time and we watched the first episode of One Punch Man together, and I didn't really like the show at all, but he likes it. But just because I don't like a show doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's not for me. In fact, I even know a few people who have watched Doctor Who and don't like it. And Doctor Who, for me, personally I think it's the best show of all time. Period. But there are even people out there who've seen the show and still don't really like it, which I think is actually impossible. But it's a fact. Just because someone doesn't like a show doesn't mean the show itself is bad. It just means it's not for you. In the same way, even if you've seen the show, you don't like it, you think it's too girly for you, it doesn't mean it's not good. If you're not brave enough to embrace the good parts of a show, if you're not brave enough to like My Little Pony just because, you know, it's girly or whatever, don't judge other people for liking it because the show really has good writing and everything in it. But in the end, liking the show is only part of the reason for being a Brony. When becoming a Brony, you come for the show, but you stay for the fandom. And the Brony fandom has some great art and fan-made projects. It has more art than I've seen in any other fandom at all. Those amazing animations. Like, look at this animation here, or this one here, or this one here, or this one here, or this one, or this one. Like, these are crazy. And this animation, Love Life of Princess, was one guy who spent years and years working on it. Non-stop. Like, that's just some dedication right there. There's also hundreds of thousands of My Little Pony fan-made songs out there too. And tons of arts and fan-made stories as well, and YouTube series and videos. Throughout the show's run, there were also tons of references and Easter eggs to things from the fandom, like Drippy keeping her looped eyes, liking muffins, and being with Dr. Hooves, and also becoming a male pony, all things that the fandom made her into. The episode Slice of Life, which was a huge love letter to the fandom to Bronies, was referencing tons of different fan-made projects in the fandom, such as Vital Scratch and Octavia being roommates in the animation Epic Warp Time, and also referencing Bunny's adventures, and Dr. Who's an assistant. Even Rainbow Factory was referenced in the show through the background music. Watch a video I made about it here if you want to check it out. Like, the Brony fandom is the most artistic fandom I've ever found, and while there is a dark side to the fandom, this dark side isn't nearly as big as the wholesome side of the show or the fandom. And the dark side is very much separated from the good side of the fandom. And the Brony fandom isn't the only fandom that has this dark side. Rule 34 applies for every fandom, not just Bronies. The Brony fandom isn't unique in this at all. Hi, future me here again. One thing I want to say that I'm so tired of hearing is people saying, oh, Bronies are attracted to ponies. But no, that is just not true. Again, some Bronies in the fandom are like that, but that isn't all of them, and that definitely is not most of them. It's only a small percentage of them. I have been to 12 different Brony conventions. I have been to Every Northwest 7 times. I've been to HarmonyCon twice. I've been to Vancouver Pony Expo twice, and I've been to TrockCon. And next year, I'm going to BabsCon and Winnie City PonyCon for the first time. I've been to 12 different conventions, and I've been part of this fandom for over 11 years. If anyone knows what the Brony fandom is actually really like, it's someone who's actually been in the fandom for over a decade. It's someone who actually has experience in it, who's actually in it and involved in it, and actually knows what it's like, rather than someone who's just looking from the outside. If you're going to dismiss my experience of 11 years being in this fandom, even though you yourself have no experience in the fandom at all, and are only going by assumptions, that is 100% completely unfair and just plain wrong. But maybe you're thinking, but I've heard from the internet that all Bronies are gay, and that all Bronies are attracted to ponies. Well, this may surprise you or not, but not everything on the internet is true. I know, it's a shocker, right? But some things on the internet is just not true. Just because some people online say that all Bronies are gay or attracted to ponies, doesn't mean it's true. People who say things like that are people who are outside and are only going by assumptions and really have no experience in the fandom at all. Just like the assumption that all Christians are judgmental or prideful, which is 1000% wrong. Sorry if I'm sounding a little angry in this video, but this is really important to me and just wanted to just get it out, just the misconceptions in this fandom, and just say what really is true about it, and to get rid of all the lies. Hi there, future me here. Can you just say one last thing in the video that I need to edit in before I upload the video? And it's this. Are Bronies weird? Yes, we are weird. We Bronies may seem strange to an outsider, but in the end, if there's anything wrong about being a Brony, it's just ponies. It's not sex, drugs, alcohol, swearing, or gambling. It's just ponies, and in the end, there isn't anything inherently wrong with that. The only reason why Bronies may get backlash is because of the main belief that all Bronies are gay or attracted to ponies, and as I've said, that is just not true. In my 11-year experience in the fandom and going to 12 different Brony conventions proves it. The Brony fandom mainly consists of people who are genuinely passionate about the show, who create animations, stories, art, and songs to show the love for the series that we can all bond over. There may be a few toxic people in the fandom, but don't let a few toxic Bronies define the rest of the good non-toxic Bronies. Just like how meeting one judgmental Christian shouldn't make you define all the other Christians as judgmental and toxic, when in fact they are not. And now I'll let Pass Me take over the video once again. So what does it mean to be a Brony? It means to like the show and enjoy the fandom. That's it. There's absolutely nothing gay in that definition at all. Just look at the website whatisabrony.com and it'll tell you the very same thing. To be a Brony does not mean to be gay at all. It has nothing to do with being gay. That's a false idea. Completely false. That's a lie. Again, while there are some gay people in the fandom, that isn't most of them, and that isn't what it means to be a Brony. So then, why am I a Brony and a Christian? Because there's so many biblical teachings in the show, and in My Little Pony, and the biblical parallels in almost every episode. as YouTuber Shady Oak Ministries has shown. All the reformed characters in the show resemble what it looks like to become a Christian, and spreading the message of friendship across the world resembles what it means to spread the message of the gospel across the world, to spread the message of friendship with Jesus. And the school of friendship is like a church, teaching people the way of friendship, the way of Jesus. And pretty much every episode has some kind of teaching or lesson from the Bible. Like the episode Applejack season, Applejack learns the value of rest, which greatly resembles the Bible's teaching on the Sabbath. And the episode The Times They Are Changeling, Spike learns how to overcome his fears and to tell others about Thorax and how he's actually a good changeling and he's loving and nice, which greatly resembles how we are called to stand up and tell other people about Jesus. And the episode The Summer Sun Setback greatly resembles what Romans 5 says, because in the episode, Discord has the power to snap his fingers and to get rid of all the hardships in life in the episode. But instead, he tells the main characters that it's better to grow in character. And in that scene, he even looks like Jesus in that scene. And that teaching is exactly from Romans 5:3-5. Like, was that even intentional? And in the episode The Reality Takes Manhattan, it really resembles what it looks like to fall into sin, but then it comes back into God's grace, into his loving arms. And the episode Feeling Peaky Keen greatly resembles what it looks like to have faith in God. And there are tons and tons of more great examples of this all throughout the show. Almost every episode has a great example like this. And I actually do a video series on this channel if you want to check it out. And these videos show how My Little Pony teaches Christian morals and Christian values. And a lot of the lessons and similarities from the episodes come straight from the Bible. I also make these videos to bring the gospel to the Brony fandom because everyone should hear the gospel, even Bronies. There are biblical lessons and similarities in every good story, and My Little Pony has more biblical teachings and parallels than I've seen in any other non-Christian show or movie, and it's just amazing. Now, one thing I've heard so many times said to me is that how can you be a Brony and a Christian and believe that homosexuality and transgender is wrong when it's so often embraced in the fandom? And I've heard many people online brought out points in the show where it seems like the show seems to embrace this side of the fandom, like the wedding of Lila and Bon Bon in the newspaper, or the Screwloose Ants being together, or Rainbow Dash and Applejack being implied to be married by the end of the show, or Big Mac acting like a transgender woman in that one episode. These moments only take up 0.1% of the entire runtime of the show, and these moments are very rare, and they're often only implied moments to be gay, or they're in the background of the episode and easily missed. They're only a small, teeny part of the show, like take up 0.1%. It's barely anything, really. And even though the show does have these few moments, which seems to embrace this side, that doesn't suddenly undo the biblical teachings in the show. That's not how it works. Twilight still resembles what it looks like to become a Christian. The show's message of friendship still resembles the gospel's message of friendship of Jesus. The school of friendship still resembles a church or a Bible college, and all the other biblical teachings and lessons in every episode are still there. They don't suddenly go away just because a few episodes and a few scenes seem to say, oh, being gay is okay. No, that's not how it works. This is just because we are living in a fallen world where sin is often accepted. It's not a perfect sinless show. Of course, no show is perfect or sinless because we live in a fallen world, but it can still greatly reflect the teachings from the Bible. So in the end, I'm a Brony because the show is great, the fandom is great, and it's passionate, and it's wholesome. And because the show has biblical teachings in it that can often lead us closer to God. And so that's it. That's all I have for the video pretty much. And so thank you for watching. And if you know someone who thinks it's going to be a Brony, then send this video to them, and maybe it will help them. And I guess that's it. So thank you for watching. And again, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. I'm Sonic Boom, and I'll see you all next time. To be a Brony is a very strange thing. So then why do they exist? It's because the show is so good. It's because the show is so good. It's because the show is so good. The show is good. I became one on a day in 2013. After a full decade, I can't believe all I've seen. The greatest thing about all this, it is just what it shows. In every episode, it shows the Lord of Hosts. It shows the Lord of Hosts. It shows the Lord